We imagine with our eyes open far more and far more naturally and every day than we do with our eyes closed. And the eyes open imagination is as effective as the eyes closed imagination. But there is a difference. Neville Goddard warned about this idea that don't use daydreaming or fantasizing or vain imagination, because that does nothing. And the difference behind it is not what you think. You might be thinking, oh, then daydreaming means that it's not effective. Why is it not effective? We are imagining. It's not that the daydreaming is ineffective in its essence. It's your intention when you get into the daydream that I'm just gonna escape reality or have this argument with this person to give them the peace of my mind, or 18 plus fantasies. We just do those for pleasure. We already go into the daydream or the fantasy knowing full well or going with the intention that this is false, I'm just imagining, it's never gonna happen, this is all a lie anyways. And so we go into the daydream or wishful thinking from already having the intention that this is not real, this is not gonna happen. Therefore, it has no potency. And another problem with daydreaming or wishful thinking is sometimes we have this daydreaming from third person perspective. We are watching the movie being played. We are not acting in that imaginal act from first person. How you would walk or talk or communicate with somebody in real life, you're not doing that, you're just watching a movie. But the first point is more important. We go into the fantasy and the daydream with the intention that this is not real, this is just for pleasure, or this is just I'm killing time, but it means nothing. And that's why it is pointless. But at the same time, there are times in your life when you are imagining but you are doing it unconsciously. For example, you are having argument with the specific person and you're fighting with them in mind and you're emotionally charged, it's vivid, it's visceral, you can feel it in the body, it's so potent. And you're having that argument, maybe you are in the shower or whatever, or driving or doing dishes, and you are unconscious, you are not really paying attention, you're really into the daydreaming or the argument, the imagination. Now that becomes real in life, that happens. Why is that? What's the difference? Because here you are unconscious. You did not go into the imaginal act with the intention that this is not real, and you have charged it emotionally by feeling the real emotions and really diving deep into like visceral experience, even adding 5 senses like slapping them or something or smelling their perfume or smelling the perfume another woman on his you know what I mean. So you are unconscious in that moment, but the imaginal act is potent, real, with feelings, with emotions. And what happens is, these sort of imaginal acts often bear fruit. And watching some movies or some TikTok or some information online, most people are unconscious and they are like a sponge, and they are imagining, they are watching a reel and they are relating it with emotionally to themselves, like, oh yeah, my husband, my wife does this as well, I'm such a victim. Oh yeah, money is very difficult. Oh, I am this race and this is because of my race I have these problems, blah blah blah. You are imagining the whole scenario with your eyes open, but at the same time you are like a sponge. You are not conscious or present of what you are watching, and you are imagining and absorbing, and then that builds up a self-concept or a character within you or an idea within you of yourself, which becomes real. So now I will show you why did I give so many examples, because you already imagine all day with your eyes open and you are a master at it. But when it comes to deliberately doing it, we start shaking like, oh, it's so difficult, blah, blah, blah. I have this problem, I have a fantasia or whatever. We start saying these things. So, there is a very easy technique that you can do that I have been doing for quite some time. It's tremendously powerful, which is superimposing your desired reality onto into the 3D that you are in right now. And it plays very well with houses, buying a house. So when I was buying my flat in Russia, and there were a lot of problems, I made a full video about it. I will put the link in the description to it. But long story short, when I was imagining, I was in my rental apartment, and I have a habit of walking in my apartment back and forth. I just do that sometimes. And when I was doing that in my rental apartment, with my eyes open, I would superimpose the flat I was trying to buy into this rental flat, and I would see it. I would see it in my mind's eye as my eyes are open and I'm walking, and I would imagine that I'm walking there. And before going to sleep at night in my rental apartment, when my eyes were still open, I would superimpose that apartment's bed that I was buying, and I would superimpose that reality onto my reality, and put it here as though I am there, and I would fall asleep like that there. Now, what do we do with daydreaming? We are looking at somewhere, but we are not actually paying attention. We zone out, right? I'm not sure if you guys, if everybody does this, but many people do it. We can blur the vision and get lost into a reverie or in a daydream by making everything blurry, and we are not focused on any object. But we are looking, but we are not seeing anything, because we are not paying attention to it, and then we start imagining something. So you can do this in practice. The superimposing technique is, I don't know how to explain what's the mechanics behind it, but I'm sure everybody can do it. Like I can now, walking here, this is a green forest, I can see that it is winter already. I can see with my eyes open, superimpose the layout of winter here. And the mechanics are that you see with your eyes, you watch or look with your eyes, but you don't see. You see what you want to see internally, and you merge two different realities of your mind's eye and your physical eye into one, and you make it into your desired reality. This is a little bit trippy or difficult to explain subject, but I'm sure many of you can do it easily. But the other one is easy. How to imagine with your eyes open. I think Neville Goddard talked about this as well. That you can look at a white wall, some unimpressive object, or a fire or a candle, something that can hold your attention but is not too interesting that your mind will get lost in the details. So a white wall, ceiling, fire, or in the complete darkness of the night, you can turn every light off so that there is nothing really messing with your vision. And when you daydream during the day, you can do it even in the midst of interesting things. It just takes some practice. But while I am daydreaming or thinking about something, I am looking, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm not registering anything that I'm seeing. I am actually imagining in my mind's eye what I'm imagining. So you can do that. But this technique is simple. You look at the wall, you get into a meditative state. It helps to get into a meditative, relaxed state, that your mind is not jumping everywhere and is too active. Or you can light a candle and look into the fire of the candle and breathe in and breathe out. Relax yourself as much as you can, and you will notice that you will stop seeing what you are seeing, and you can easily get into an alpha state where you can activate your imagination. And eventually, because the image is uninteresting or not very much detail or not a lot of things are going on, eventually your mind starts to check out of what it is seeing, because there is nothing there to watch, right? And you get into an alpha state where you are in a present moment, you are relaxed, and your mind eye can begin to see whatever it wants. So when you feel relaxed enough, I want you to bring something in front of your mind's eye, just in first person. Always imagine in first person as though you are acting in 3D in real life. You can bring some character, some whatever scene, and you can have a very short scene playing out repeatedly in your mind, which implies your wish is fulfilled. Now, what is very, very important that I have mentioned initially in the video is not so much as the imagination or the technique or fantasy or wishful thinking or the way you do it, the way you don't do it, doesn't matter. All of these things work. You can just imagine a still image in your mind and think of it as real, and it will become real. I've done this with some things where I just saw an image in my mind that image implied that I have what I want, and it happened. So it's not so much the technique or the duration of the technique, it's your intention going into the imaginal act, that what you are doing is real or not. Or even if you explicitly say that this is real, even if you don't say that, just don't say that this is not real or this is just fantasy. That is the make or break of all of this stuff, because you cannot fool your own consciousness. If you think that all of this if you think that all this manifestation and Neville Goddard stuff is all baloney and it doesn't work and I'm just gonna try, there is no such thing as trying. You are either in or you are not, because you cannot fool your own I am awareness. Your I am awareness takes you literally for who you are, not what you say. It takes you for who you actually are. This is why the cliche term in manifestation community that you do not manifest what you want, you manifest who you are, is true, absolutely true. So understand that this stuff works because you are going into it knowing that this is the causal realm, that this is imagination is the real reality. But here's another perspective. Even if you know nothing, this is very this stuff that I'm talking about now is for advanced law of assumption people who have studied this extensively. Now they're struggling with this stuff. But beginners, why don't they struggle with this stuff? Because beginners are excited about law of assumption. They do not have a lot of fear about it, trial or error. They get into an excited state that, oh, if it works, it's going to be so awesome. So they go into this charged state, excited state of trying it and experiencing it. They are more positively charged than negatively charged. So even if they don't deliberately think that, oh, this is a fact, this is real, imagination creates reality, even if they do not are charged like know it really, but because of excited positive energy, they get into it, and that state of being makes them very magnetic. But when we are veterans, so-called, of this stuff, we start to fear that maybe this is not real because of our failures that we have failed to manifest. And then we become overly conscious of our mind and we make it overcomplicated. So you don't have to deliberately say it is real, so long as you do not deliberately say or feel or have the intention that this is not real. So it is more important to go into the act from not go into the act that is not real than it is for you to actually fully believe it. You could be in an excited state, maybe in an experimental mindset, and you could still manifest. This is how the skeptical students of Neville Goddard, to whom he said that I will not climb a ladder technique and many of them manifested the climbing a ladder. So all in all, what am I trying to get at? I know it sounds very abstract, but you must credit your imagination and your inner world as the real reality. That's the make or break of this stuff. If you don't, and but beginners don't really know their inner world, but they still manifest. Why? Because they are in an excited, they are not rejecting the idea. Is the deliberate intention that, oh, this is just fantasy, it's probably balloony, this stuff doesn't work, but I will try it anyways, hot and cold behavior, right? Christ said uh, in the scripture, be either hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I will spit you out. Right? So you can be on one side or the other, but you cannot be in the middle. Or you cannot be skeptical that, oh, inner world is not real, I'm just gonna try it anyways. So this is why daydreaming and fantasy works in some cases and it doesn't work in some cases. It doesn't work in some cases, especially 18 plus imaginations. Why? Because you know that you are doing it just for pleasure. You don't give a, you don't really believe that it can ever happen. You're just doing it from pleasure or escaping reality or whatever, and then it never happens. But there are people who have done it where it has happened, and the only difference is they actually believe that they are in the scene and it's real. And in daydreaming, if you are unconscious, if you do not deliberately daydream just to escape reality, but you are actually zoned out, you are totally zoned out in a heated argument with your boss, really giving him the business, and then he fires you. And a couple of weeks later you actually do get fired and the scene plays out. What was the difference? In this case, you did not deliberately get into the fantasy and the daydream from the lens that this is not real, it's all false, I'm just enjoying or escaping. You were actually immersed in the scene, you were actually feeling it viscerally to be real, really having the heated debate or discussion or fight, and you really felt it. And then let's say you were in the bus, you were daydreaming, you were in the moment, and your bus stop comes and you all of a sudden snap out of it and you walk away and you go home. So the seed has already planted. You did not rebuke it by saying, oh, it's just fantasy, it's not gonna happen, I rebuke it. Or you would say, oh, I imagine what I imagine, but I do not wish to experience it, so I'm gonna take it back, right? Or imagine something positive instead. You did not do nothing. You you did the deed, you snapped out of it, you went about your day. Classic, perfect example of manifestation, right? You affirm, you imagine, you snap out of it, and you go about your day, not worrying about whether it will happen or not. And that is how a lot of the wishful thinking, daydreaming, fantasy of people that they don't even remember manifest. So take your imagination very seriously. Do not take it lightly, because we are doing this every single day and we are misusing this power. So I gave you all these examples to show you that you already do this all day, every day, and you are a pro at it. Now deliberately do it. Use trips like bus trips, train trips, airplane, or things. These things put you into a flow state, and you go unconscious and you're thinking about things while driving. These times are where your mind is in a fluid state, but often we go unconscious. We go unconscious and we have these unconscious debates and imaginal acts which are destructive. You can use these times of flow and motion to actually imagine and superimpose reality that you want to experience, rather than what you don't want, and you will use your time very wisely and you will create lovely experiences for yourself. So those who want to work with me one-on-one, the link is in the description, or you can join my weekly live streams on the membership site where I answer all your questions in depth. The link is in the description. This is it for this video. Until next time, bye bye.